Alright, welcome back to the third and final part of Stockholmsnatta and this video series, which is a little mini virtual tour of Stockholm from the kayak perspective. If you haven't seen the earlier parts, I would recommend that you start with part 1 and I'll leave a link here. So at this point, as you can see, it's after sunset and our group of about 20 kayakers here have just reached north of City Hall and Stadshusbron Bridge, and we're now continuing in the canals here towards our starting point, which was at Pampas Marina. You can see our route here, the one we followed for the day, and we're now on the most northern stretch here. And because there isn't all that much footage from this trip, as well, since as you can see it kind of gets dark here. Well, seems the police are on to us.
Nu vet de att vi är här. Vi är avslöjade.
They know we're here, I say to another paddler. So if you watched the first two video parts, you would have noticed that I had each geographical location clearly marked in the video. So every bridge we passed and every particular location of note and such. I won't do that in this video.
Eller är det hinder i vattnet? Yes.
Because basically we're just passing north of Kungsholmen Island, and you can see the locations just by checking out Google Maps, and basically the footage is only well, it's fairly limited here because it's dark, and obviously, you know, I'm not filming as much as we now approach our end location for the paddle, which was the starting location, which is Pampas Marina.
All right.
But now we're actually attempting to take a group photo here in front of Karlberg Castle, which is one, however, noteworthy location. And since some of the participants in the group were kind of starting out,
det är nästan så att jag ska börja trycka tillbaka här.
You had a mixed group of paddlers from, you know, very experienced to relative beginners. So this was good exercise, trying to get everybody together as kind of a raft for a group photo. Bit of a paddle salute.
All right. Och så kör vi 1, 2, 3 kajak. 1, 2, 3 kajak. All right.
So actually, since it's dark and, you know, action cameras like the GoPro that I'm using here aren't great in the dark, the footage is limited on the way back here. This is the final stretch after all, but that castle we just saw is a really nice location to paddle by. Here on the open water here and in the canal in general, you need to be aware of boat traffic if you're paddling here, so keep near to shore, and on, you know, more narrow areas you should keep on the right side against boat traffic. After the castle you have this small area with some greenery, which is quite nice, but it's also worth mentioning that behind us there on the open water you might even want to shout actually for surf skis. Occasionally you see them and they can be quite quick, so a bit of swell from boats or even surf skis, something to look out for. And now we're finally heading under the bridges here, and after that, in fact, we'll be done with this evening paddle, which started out a bit scary because just before we started there was heavy rain and thunder even. Just, you know, an hour before the paddle it was still raining rather heavily, but we ended up having really nice weather. And yeah, since we started just in front of where we are now, you can see how kind of paddling around mostly involves the island of Kungsholmen, which we have on our left here. And in fact, as we close out the footage from this trip, I will include a few routes that you could use to paddle with distances and such, as a bit of advice for enjoying Stockholm. So basically, where you're starting from and how long you're renting a kayak for, if you're renting a kayak in fact, will of course determine what your appropriate route is. If you have a full day, you will have an enormous amount of time to check out both all of the areas of Stockholm on this side and maybe even the islands, the small islands further out if you pass Gröndal and continue further west. But if you only have half a day or even just a couple of hours, you would want to have a shorter tour, or maybe even if you're using your own kayak. So in that case, here are a few options. First of all, here are some locations where you typically have kayak rentals. This varies a bit from year to year, at least with some of the rental locations. So I won't mention specific rental places here. I would just advise you to go to Google or whatever search engine you use and Google kayak rental Stockholm or hyr kayak i Stockholm in Swedish and check out the options. But if you have, say, half a day or even a couple of hours, here are a few routes that should be workable from most of these locations. First of all, a very short trip, and by the way, you can obviously combine these as you see fit, but a very short trip, if you're starting more centrally, is around simply the island of Långholmen and Reimersholme, which you saw in part 1 and in part 2 to some extent. That will give you some good overview of some of the really nice canals and areas there. And you can stop at the beach, perhaps, on the north side of Långholmen, or somewhere else for snacks. Just be aware of that there can be a lot of boat traffic on the south side of Långholmen, and of Reimersholme. So make sure that you're careful and stick close to land as necessary. Keep an eye out simply. Then, in addition to that, we have the round trip around Kungsholmen Island, which we saw the north side of in this video. So that is something that people like to do, and it's a bit of a longer stretch, but you will get to see a lot. In fact, you will pass City Hall, you will pass the major Västerbron Bridge and a lot of other bridges on the north side, and you'll pass Karlberg Castle, which we just passed in this video, and you get good views otherwise of Stockholm. You see the open areas of Riddarfjärden, which the open section of water that you saw in the previous video just ahead of City Hall. That provides really good views of Stockholm. Both the south side and north side of Riddarfjärden has some nice views. So you see City Hall and you see the island of Södermalm. And again, to be careful with boat traffic and such. If you'd like to explore a little bit further, you could check out the islands of Lilla and Stora Essingen. And again, looking out for boat traffic, but going around those would be a nice option. And if you do have time and you're interested, you could go a bit further. Towards the west, there are actually some small islands here. Again, looking out for boat traffic. And you could even go to the Vinterviken area. That's somewhere where you could perhaps leave your kayak reasonably close by and have a quick walk around the area. Lots of history there. You could do what we did in the previous video, which is go around Årstaholmar, the islands that we passed there. Or you might even go a bit further and check out the areas of Årstaviken all the way to Hammarbyslussen lock. And this is where basically, again, fresh water on the west side meets seawater on the east side. So these paddle options, make for really nice views of Stockholm. And if you'd like to see more of either of them, there's plenty on YouTube. Google Maps is a great tool to measure distance and plan your trip. Obviously, check your weather forecast. And if you'd like to see more of these areas, actually a lot of them are included in videos on this channel. So if you go through the videos on this channel, you'll see a lot of Stockholm videos. For example, the Swedish Sea Kayak Day videos, Havskajakens Dag, which really show a lot of Stockholm as well. So I hope that's been helpful. If something is unclear or you'd like advice on something, feel free to drop a comment and I'll be happy to try and answer or help out. Hope you found this useful, and thank you again for watching. Happy paddles, and welcome to Stockholm if you haven't been here already. All the best.